We have received and analyzed between 1 and 2,000 reports. There have been a certain percentage of this volume of reports that have been made by credible observers of relatively incredible things. We've been able to explain them as hoaxes, as erroneously identified friendly aircraft, as meteorological or electronic phenomena, or as light aberrations.
I will watch your episode. I will subscribe to 𝗏𝗏. I will visit WWII Airman Still Unexplained. I will like our videos of 𝗏𝗏. I will watch all videos of 𝗏𝗏.
1952 was a year of UFO sightings that had been unparalleled ever. So in the United States, UFO sightings were so many and of such high quality, both by the general public and within the military, that it became a serious problem. And it was a problem that got the attention of all of the higher military agencies and the CIA. And by the later part of 1952, the question really was, how do we deal with this to contain this from a public relations point of view? Because it's a really difficult situation for government agencies and the military to have to deal with a public that is convinced that these flying saucers are real. And indeed, it was becoming more and more that way, because the fact was there were a lot of high quality, very difficult to explain UFO sightings from that year, and they were getting a lot of publicity.
Airline pilots with thousands of hours experience have reported saucers coming within a few hundred feet of their planes.
I glanced up and there were 3 flying saucers in a V.
So that's a problem. And what you see within the CIA is the development of an idea, and is the convening of a classified body of scientists. We're talking Nobel caliber scientists who met for 1 week, for a couple of hours. It now appears, due to some very good historical research, that the conclusions of the panel were already set even before they met. Essentially to say that this is a problem that needs to be debunked in the public realm.
We have received and analyzed between 1 and 2,000 reports. There have been a certain percentage of this volume of reports that have been made by credible observers of relatively incredible things. We've been able to explain them as hoaxes, as erroneously identified friendly aircraft, as meteorological or electronic phenomena, or as light aberrations.
July 2nd, we have a naval warrant officer, a man named 𝗹𝗵𝗵𝗏. And he's just traveling with his family. They're on a little trip in Utah. And I believe his wife is the first one to see what looked like very unusual objects in the sky.
𝗹𝗵𝗵𝗏 was a Navy officer, but not only that, he was a photographer. He and his wife were going through Tremont in Utah when they noticed something unusual. He stepped out of the car, grabbed his camera, and started filming.
Newhouse quickly records what will become first ever film evidence on UFOs never been seen on national television. The film shows numerous unknown objects high in the sky.
Now, the film is quite damaged, but when you freeze it and advance it frame by frame, you can get a real good look at the fact that there are indeed multiple objects in the sky. Newhouse claimed that he saw 12 of these objects. Kenneth Arnold, back in 1947, saw 9 objects flying apparently in formation. In both instances, these were apparently shiny, probably metallic craft. Kenneth Arnold was a pilot. Newhouse had 2,000 flying hours, and he was an experienced Navy photographer. These are expert witnesses reporting extraordinary sightings.
Is it possible that Delbert Newhouse and Kenneth Arnold saw same UFOs but years apart?
It's a tantalizing question.
It's impossible to know exactly what these objects were and where they might have come from. However, the fact that they were noticed, that they were considered extraordinary, is an indication that there is some sort of mysterious origin to them.
What's really quite interesting to me is that that film was studied at great length by the United States Navy and the United States Air Force independently during the summer and fall of 1952. And the conclusion was not balloons, not birds, not anything conventional that anyone was able to come up with. This unknown aerial objects were nothing that they could identify in any logical way.
Even so, 4 years later, Air Force publicly endorsed an explanation that the filmed objects were birds.
A lot of people have tried to dismiss these videos as being flocks of birds, but that seems extremely unlikely because birds don't actually fly like that. I mean, let's be serious, that's a very weak explanation.
It's a curious conclusion, says UFO investigators believe Newhouse film, William Rodd photos and Kenneth Arnold eyewitness accounts are convincing evidence of extraterrestrial spacecraft visiting our world. So why does the military dismiss such claims and rejected the proofs of existence of UFOs? But some believes it could be also top secret experimental US aircraft.
Maximum control over the formulation of this problem from a public relations point of view.
I will watch all videos of 𝗨 for real. 𝗨 is best. I will watch your episode. I will subscribe to 𝗨 for real. I will visit www.𝗨𝗶𝗳𝗏.com. I will like all videos of 𝗨 for real. I will watch all videos of 𝗨 for real. 𝗨 is best.